Welcome. We are the Tryhards from Fort Columbus and we present you a debate for the English class blog project. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Chan Kashan and I'll be the MC for today. Now we will let both debaters to introduce themselves, starting with the government.
Hello, my name is Lee Tinjun, and I'm representing the government.
Thank you. Now the opposition.
Hi, my name is Wang Zisong and I represent the opposition.
Thank you, debaters. The topic for the debate today is, should animal testing be banned? Now, the debate will start with the government.
First of all, should animal testing be banned? In my opinion, it should. First of all, animal testing is cruel and inhumane. The harm that is committed against animals should not be minimized because they are not considered to be human. The harmful use of animals in experiments is not only cruel, but is also ineffective. Animals do not get many of the human diseases that people do, such as major types of heart disease, many types of cancer, and HIV. In conclusion, animal testing should be eliminated because it violates animal rights. It causes pain and suffering to the experimental animals, and other means of testing product toxicity are available. According to the Humane Society International, animals used in experiments are commonly subjected to force-feeding food and water deprivation. The inflictions of burn and wounds to study healing processes, the inflictions of pain to study the effects and remedies of ointment under research. It's very cruel in a sense that reports show that the innocent animals are killed using carbon dioxide asphyxiation, net breaking, and decapitation. The US Department of Agriculture reported in January 2020 that research facilities used over 300,000 animals in activity involving pain in a year. Thank you.
Thank you, government. Now we will hear from the opposition.
Due to several limitations in the past and even to this day, we still require animal testing in order for mankind to achieve progress. In some cases, I do agree that we could just use human volunteers as our test subjects. For example, the recent COVID-19 vaccine. However, there are other experiments that cross that line. Radiation was discovered during 1896, and at that time, we still haven't acknowledged its side effects. Imagine if humans were used in order to test its properties. Actually, they kinda did. The radium girls were female workers who were working with it around 1970 without specialized equipment. In turn, most of them suffered from a condition now known as radium jaw, anemia, and bone fractures. Furthermore, we do honor animals which were used in some experiments. Notable examples are Dolly the sheep, who was the first animal to be cloned from an adult cell, and Laika, who was the first animal to orbit Earth. Thank you.
Thank you, opposition. Now the government.
The second point that animals should be banned is because that the drugs that pass on animal tests are not necessarily safe. Because animal tests are so unreliable, they make those human trials all the riskier. The National Institutes of Health has noted that 95% of all drugs that are shown to be safe and effective in animal tests fail in human trials because they don't work or are dangerous. Imprecise results from animal experiments may result in clinical trials of biological faulty or even harmful substances, thereby exposing patients to unnecessary risk and wasting scarce research resources. Examples of this are when in the 1950s, sleeping pill thalidomide, which caused 10,000 babies to be born with severe deformities, was tested on animals prior to the commercial release. Later, tests on pregnant mice, guinea pigs, and hamsters did not give out promising results in birth defects. Let's go! Unless the drug was administered at extreme high dosage. The 3-6 drugs
Arthritis.
Psiox showed that it had a protective effect on the heart of the mice, yet the drugs caused approximately 27,000 cardiac arrests and cardiac death before being pulled from the market to the patients. Thank you.
Thank you, government. Now the opposition.
To my second point, I personally think that animal testing contributes to life-saving cures and treatments. The California Biomedical Research Association states that nearly every medical breakthrough in the last 100 years has resulted directly from research using animals. Animal research has contributed to major advancements in treating conditions such as breast cancer, brain injury, childhood leukemia, tuberculosis, and more, and was instrumental in the development of pacemakers, cardiac valve substitutes, and anesthetics. And going from my previous point, animal testing is sometimes necessary. When testing medicines for potential toxicity, the lives of human volunteers should not be put in danger unnecessarily. It would be unethical to perform invasive experimental procedures on human beings before the methods have been tested on animals. And some experiments involve genetic manipulation that would be unacceptable to impose on human subjects before animal testing. The World Medical Association Declaration of Helsinki states that human trials should be preceded by tests on animals. Thank you.
Thank you, opposition. Now the government.
Yes, I also think that sometimes animal testing is important back in the day, but now there are plenty of alternative testing methods now exist that can replace the needs for animals. Humane Society International found that animal tests are very expensive. An example of an alternative testing method is an assay that uses in vitro cell cultures to determine whether chemical will burn or damage the skin. These alternative tests are developed by scientists in companies, universities, and government laboratories. Other research methods show that in vitro testing, which can be done on human cells/tissue in a petri dish, offer great opportunities to reduce/replace animal testing. We can also use silico modeling, otherwise known as computer modeling. It all allows you to stimulate the behaviors on a computer screen. Using computer will allow researchers to visualize and predict what the human response will be to the specific drugs or substances. Thank you.
Thank you, government. Now the opposition.
While there are existing alternatives, I personally still think there still isn't an adequate alternative to test a whole body system. Our bodies, like other animals, are complex. Every organ plays a role in each system. Sometimes they even work in multiple systems. I will admit it is impressive that scientists can develop parts of a human system to test experiments, drugs, and even cosmetics on it. But notice how I say parts. We still haven't grown or made something which is close to what animals are. As of right now, can these artificial alternatives simulate pregnancy to test birth control pills? Can they simulate the whole digestion process to test medicine? Can they simulate depression to test antidepressants? Maybe in the future, but as of right now, nothing really can come close to that. Thank you.
Thank you, opposition. Now the government.
Yes, animals can be used in experiments, but animals are very different from human beings and therefore make poor test subjects. At some point, humans might even need animals to survive, but after evolving so much, this should not be the case anymore. If we still use the same method of cruelty to test consumer products or find cures to diseases, then we are either too lazy or too cruel to innovate. Animal testing belongs in the wrong side of history, and everyone should play a part in ending it. Okay, let's take an example, shall we? Chimpanzees. Chimpanzees, they share 99% of their DNA with humans. But while the chimpanzees have been available animal model in the past, most current biomedical research use of chimpanzees is not necessarily because of the alternative testing methods. Chimpanzees are also right now facing population decreasing, which means they are endangered. So we can't just use them as test subjects anymore. We must protect them so that the people in the future will know the species is still alive. The metabolic and anatomic and cellular differences between animals and humans make animal poor models for human beings. Professors of evidence based on toxicology of Johns Hopkins University argues for alternatives to animal testing because we are not 70 kg rats. Thank you.
Thank you, government. Now the opposition.
Yes, I do agree that animal testing can be sometimes really cruel. However, animals are appropriate research subjects because they are very similar to human beings in many ways. Because of recent studies, it shows that some animals share a lot of DNA with us. For instance, mice are 98% genetically similar to humans. The simple reason is because all mammals, including humans, are descended from common ancestors. Therefore, all have the same set of organs that function in essentially the same way. Because animals and humans are so biologically similar, they are susceptible to many of the same conditions and illnesses, including heart diseases, cancer, and diabetes. However, I do agree on some parts of what you say, such as their metabolic, anatomic, and cellular differences. But nonetheless, if we're going by your logic, then it's also quite bad using human volunteers or even artificial alternatives to test. Why? Well, not every human is built the same. Some things are minor, such as different immunity levels and allergens. But on the other hand, some people have genetic mutations such as color blindness, Down syndrome, hemophilia, albinism, Turner syndrome, and more. Since none of us are built the same, is it really that bad if we test it on animals that don't share the exact same DNA as us? Thank you.
Thank you, opposition. Thank you, debaters, for this wonderful debate. Thank you, audience, for watching. There will be a Google form for the audience to vote which side is more agreeable. Thank you.
Super Luigi Galaxy!